Hello and welcome to the section of this website on how to hold the euphonium. So as we'll begin, let's pick up the euphonium and take a look at it. You'll see right away it's much bigger than the trumpet, and it's got an upright bell instead of a forward-facing bell like the trumpet. The trumpet, it's pretty obvious where you're supposed to hold it. Left hand holds the weight around the valve casings, the right hand works the buttons, doesn't hold any of the weight. It's a little bit different than the euphonium. The way the euphonium is constructed, the left hand wraps around the front of the instrument. You can grip it anywhere. You can grip it on the very bottom, go around and grip some of the tubing, and go around and grip the far end like this. As long as it feels comfortable, you can support most of the weight of the instrument with the left hand. The one issue you need to be careful of is where the mouthpiece sits. I'm pretty tall, so when I rest the euphonium comfortably on my lap, it is not comfortably near my face. I have to bend way down to get my face to the mouthpiece. That's not a good way to play the euphonium. It's going to constrict the airway. It's not going to allow for good, open, easy, carefree breathing. So what you need to do, like all instruments, is sit with a good posture and bring the instrument up to you. So, what is good posture? Well, let's start with where we sit on the chair. If I sit all the way back in the chair, it might work if I am perfectly sized to this exact chair. Odds are probably not. So when I sit here like I normally would, my legs already feel like they're a little high. There's a little space between the ends of the chair and my thighs. So this chair isn't exactly perfect for me. So what I'm going to have to do is come towards the front end of the chair, find where my sits bones are. If you've taken a yoga class, you're very familiar with where your sits bones are. If you're like most of us that haven't, you're going to have to find them. So what do? Well, your sits bones are somewhere in between leaning too far forward on your thighs and leaning too far backwards on your glutes. So what you need to do is lean too far back, find your glutes, lean too far forward, find your thighs, and somewhere in between you'll feel where there are a couple points in your bottom against the chair where you're going to be on your sits bones. It should feel comfortable and stable. The next thing is to make sure that my knees are below my hips. I do this by either bringing my feet back behind me, I can bring my feet forward. All right, number of ways, can cross them over like this is pretty comfortable for me. So what you're going to do, make sure your knees are below your hips. This allows you full, free ability to breathe in a nice, full, deep breath. All right, if your knees are too high up, constricts the bottom of your airway. I can't breathe in as much as I could as if my knees were lower. Allows the diaphragm to take in as much air as possible by relaxing this bottom part of your chest. That allows everything that's in the way here, all your guts and organs, to be pushed down out of the way as the lungs expand down into your chest. So what this is going to look like is you're going to gain about 30 pounds in one breath. All right, see how far my stomach comes out? That allows the lungs to drop down. A good way to practice this is lie flat on your back, put like a big book like a dictionary on your stomach, and breathe in and out, and watch the book rise and fall with each breath. All right, so the next step, now that we have our perfect posture, is to bring the euphonium to you. Now you notice all the weight's being held in the left hand, allowing the right hand to freely work the buttons. Some variations on holding the euphonium are going to have a fourth valve that's on the side instead of up top in line with the other four up top here. So what you're going to need to do is make sure that you're holding the euphonium with the left hand in a position that will allow you to work that fourth valve. Some other euphoniums have what are called front valves instead of top valves. Those valves will be on the front of the instrument. That forces the mouthpiece to be put on the right side of the instrument. So instead of over here, it'll look like it's over here. You still cradle the instrument with your left hand, and then the right hand comes around the front to work the valves that way. As always, what you need to make sure you're doing is sitting in a good, comfortable posture that allows you to breathe as well as you can, and the instrument comes to you. Sometimes if you have long gigs, you're playing very long rehearsals, you'll see some euphonists will buy a small pillow or a small pad that is the perfect height. You need to find the pillow that works so that when you're sitting in your posture, you can rest the euphonium on that pillow that brings it up to your embouchure height. All right, so that's the basics of how to hold the euphonium.